A lot of variety on this stage, a lot of talent on this stage, including that lady you've got with you.
You bet. The variety is the name of the game here at Benny. It's a wonderful night. I'm here with Jordana Greenberg, who plays with Harpeth Rising and sings too. Welcome her.
Hi.
I said you play violin, and you all everybody talks about your classical and your bluegrass influences. Do you ever call it a fiddle, or?
Absolutely, yeah. It sort of depends on the state that we're touring in.
Oh, I see.
Tennessee can go either way.
It's kind of a fiddle. We actually have a fiddle on our quarter, the Tennessee quarter. You probably noticed.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And it's on this side of the state, which I'm very proud to say. But you all are from all over the country, or all over the continent. It sounds like.
Originally, yes. Yeah. We have members from California, New York, Kentucky, and I'm originally from Ontario. So.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, welcome. And it's great that you got together and named yourself after a river in Tennessee. That's very cool. And I have to say that I grew up not knowing how to spell Harpeth because my grandfather talked about his childhood on the Harpeth River, and I never knew there was an R in it until I was in my 30s, I think, probably. But it's a beautiful river. Is there any reason that you named the band for that?
Well, yeah. I mean, in a sense, because we are from so many different places, it represents the area in which the band really came together and started. I mean, we met in Indiana at Indiana University, but all four of us, we got our classical music degrees, and for a short time went in different directions, and then came back together and decided to form the band. And Nashville was where we really got started with it. And we spent a good amount of time rehearsing in Pegram, which is where I was living, which is right near the Harpeth. Yeah. And it's such a beautiful river, and it's small, but it's so powerful, and I think that in some ways it represents the sort of underground Americana roots folk scene that lives in Nashville.
Yeah, well, cool. Yeah, wonderful. Do you still play classical music sometimes? Do you still?
Absolutely. Yeah, all four of us occasionally will play with symphonies when we have the time when we're home, and we'll have chamber music reading parties, which are similar to jam sessions, just with music and.
Yeah. Well, cool. But did you first? I mean, when you were playing all classical musicians, and did you all just start saying, "What the hell with this for a while? Let's try something else. Let's try this bluegrass thing."
I don't think it was really the hell with this as much as let's see what we can create in terms of our own original music. Let's take our training and the music that we love, which includes classical, but let's write something. And I think it's just. What came out happens to be bluegrass tinged and very folky, but it's not in reaction to our classical training. It's definitely a part of it.
Yeah, you've been described as Newgrass Revival meets Fairport Convention. Does that mean anything to you?
Well, we're big fans of both of those groups, so that was we were tickled by that, and it's hard for me to imagine what that would be like, actually, but maybe I guess it's us.
Yeah, maybe so. But you tell us about your records. Harpeth Rising is the self-titled one, The End of the World, and Dead Man's Hand. What's the story behind the name of that album, and tell us about it?
Well, it's the name of one of the songs on the album, and for those of you who may not be poker players, the Dead Man's Hand is aces and eights, and a mystery fifth card that's often believed to have been the Queen of Spades, but it's what Wild Bill Hickok was holding when he was shot in the back and killed. And although it's the song doesn't really have to do that much to do with it, other than the fact that Rebecca, our banjo player, and I took this sort of crazy cross-country trip, and we ended up in Vegas. And we didn't have any money, so we were camping.
That's a really sad place to be with no. It's actually a sad place to be with money, but without money, it's even worse.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people are there without any money, so we camped on the strip, and we had this sort of wild experience of being in a place where there's never a nighttime, and it was just part of this big adventure. And poker became part of our regular routine for about a year. We played poker on Wednesdays, and so the Dead Man's Hand and the legend of it sort of made its way into a song. But
did you play on the Strip? Have you ever busked and that sort of thing like that?
Yeah. Well, we busked in a lot of different places. I don't remember actually busking on the Strip. I remember it was 113 degrees, and we were trying to sleep under a street light. That's mostly what I remember.
Yeah. Well, neat. What your latest album is? Which one is it?
The End of the World.
The End of the World. Yeah. Tell me about that one.
It's actually a collaboration with my father, who's a really incredible songwriter.
No kidding.
And
is he in Ontario or?
No, my family lives in southern Indiana now.
I see. Okay, yeah.
So he's primarily a farmer, but he also does a lot of writing. And we recorded a couple of his songs on our first 2 albums, and we loved them, and so we decided to make a full album of them. And I mean, his writing is just incredibly descriptive and in some ways different from our own, but we then have the opportunity to go in musically and sort of do whatever we want with his lyrics. And so I think that the collaboration becomes something that's very much equal parts ours and his, and it's a wonderful experience.
And singing, you and Rebecca Reed-Lewin, is that her name?
Rebecca Reed-Lewin, yes.
Plays banjo. Do you all just swap off usually in the singing?
Yeah, we swap off, and everyone sings. We've sort of, over the past few years, been moving more and more towards 4-part harmonies, and that's a wonderful adventure for us. We love to sing, but it's almost a new part of our lives in a sense. And so, we started out with 1 voice, 2, 3, and now we're really exploring 4-part harmonies.
Yeah, well, neat. It sounds wonderful, but and good luck to you you're on a tour. It seems you're very popular in the Midwest. I see you're playing in Indianapolis on Saturday, this coming Saturday. And later in the month, you're going to be at Natasha's Bistro in Lexington, close by, just up at the road here. But then you're having a 3-day gig at the end of the month at the Niles Bluegrass Festival in Michigan. So it's you must be respected in bluegrass circles, even though you have a cello.
We have a cello, but they let us in anyways. It's really not kind of them. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Jordana, and good luck to you. But I really enjoyed your set.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. See you. Jordana Greenberg of Harp at the Rising, and Mr.